Sometimes the most powerful force in the world is a young person brave enough to live their complete truth. Number 3's artistic evolution literally changed how an entire generation talks about love. And number 1, their journey didn't just break the internet, it broke open hearts, minds, and possibilities for everyone watching. Drop a fire emoji if you believe the future belongs to people brave enough to change everything just by being themselves. Because what we're about to reveal proves that authentic young voices don't just inspire, they transform entire cultures. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight because, honey, these young revolutionaries are about to remind you that age is just a number when you're changing the world. Lil Nas X, the country rap revolutionary who made everything possible. When Montero Lamar Hill, better known as Lil Nas X, first uploaded Old Town Road to TikTok in December 2018, he was just a 19-year-old college dropout living with his sister and desperately hoping for viral success. Here was a young artist who could blend country and hip-hop in ways that confounded traditional genre expectations, accumulate billions of streams, and dominate charts across multiple countries with a song that cost virtually nothing to produce. Old Town Road didn't just break records, it spent 19 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, became the longest-running #1 single in chart history, and generated over $30 million in revenue. But what truly made Lil Nas X a cultural phenomenon wasn't just his musical success, it was his decision at 20 to come out as gay during Pride Month 2019, forever changing the landscape of hip-hop, country music, and LGBTQ+ representation in mainstream culture. The coming out moment was perfectly timed and brilliantly executed. On June 30th, 2019, the last day of Pride Month, Lil Nas X tweeted, "Some of y'all already know, some of y'all don't care, some of y'all not gone like me anymore. But before this month ends, I want y'all to listen closely to C7 Osier." The song contained lyrics about self-acceptance and living authentically, but the real revelation came in his follow-up tweets and interviews where he explicitly confirmed his identity as a gay man. The response was immediate and historic. Millions of social media engagements, global news coverage, and overwhelming support from fans who celebrated his courage to live openly. What makes Lil Nas X's cultural revolution so groundbreaking is how completely he shattered expectations about LGBTQ+ representation in hip-hop and country music, two genres historically hostile to queer artists. His success proved that authentic queer artists could dominate mainstream charts, win Grammy Awards, and build massive global audiences without hiding or compromising their identity. His follow-up singles Montero, Call Me By Your Name, and Industry Baby featured explicitly queer themes, stunning visual storytelling, and unapologetic celebration of gay sexuality that generated billions of views and cultural conversations. The internet embraced Lil Nas X's fearless approach to queer representation and his refusal to sanitize his art for conservative audiences. His social media presence became a masterclass in authentic self-expression, cultural commentary, and strategic provocation that consistently generated viral moments and meaningful discussions about LGBTQ+ rights. His responses to homophobic criticism were clever, educational, and empowering, turning negative energy into opportunities for advocacy and community building. What's most compelling about Lil Nas X's impact is how he used his massive platform to normalize queer sexuality and challenge religious and cultural conservatism while maintaining commercial success and artistic integrity. His choice of creative collaborators, visual concepts, and musical themes consistently prioritizes authentic expression over safe commercial choices. His continued success has encouraged other LGBTQ+ artists to be more open about their identity and experiences. The most remarkable aspect of Lil Nas X's revolution is how he proved that authentic queer representation can be both culturally transformative and commercially dominant. His approach to fame prioritizes genuine self-expression, community advocacy, and meaningful cultural change over traditional celebrity management. Industry observers note his substantial influence on music industry approaches to LGBTQ+ artists, authentic marketing, and genre-defying creative freedom. Whether through his groundbreaking music, his fearless advocacy, or simply his courage to exist authentically as a young gay black man in spaces that historically excluded people like him, Lil Nas X represents something revolutionary about contemporary culture. proof that authentic representation doesn't just change industries, it changes the world's understanding of what's possible when young people refuse to hide their truth. Drop a 5 if Lil Nas X's country hip-hop revolution proves that the most powerful music comes from artists brave enough to be completely, unapologetically themselves in genres that never made space for them before, creating space for everyone who comes after. Joshua Bassett, the Disney star who rewrote the wholesome playbook. When Joshua Bassett first stepped into Ricky Bowen's shoes for Disney's High School Musical, the series, he seemed destined to follow the traditional Disney Channel heartthrob trajectory, wholesome image, safe romantic storylines, and carefully managed public persona designed to appeal to conservative family audiences. Here was a 24-year-old multi-talented performer who could anchor Disney's biggest streaming series with over 100 million hours viewed globally, write and perform Grammy-nominated original music, and charm audiences with boy-next-door appeal that felt both contemporary and classic. His 17 million Instagram followers established him as Disney's newest breakout star. But it was his journey toward authentic self-expression that would truly revolutionize what Disney representation could look like in the modern era. The transformation began subtly through his music rather than grand announcements. Bassett's 2021 single Crisis contained deeply personal lyrics about identity and self-discovery that resonated far beyond typical Disney pop. His follow-up tracks explored themes of love without boundaries and authentic self-expression that felt more mature and introspective than expected from a Disney heartthrob. Industry insiders noted his gravitational pull toward meaningful songwriting and vulnerable performance that suggested someone working through personal evolution in real time. The moment that changed everything came during a May 2021 interview when Bassett casually mentioned thinking Harry Styles was attractive, then clarified his position with beautiful honesty. "I guess my point is, why can't it be both? I like girls and I like guys." Rather than walking back the comment or clarifying for damage control, he doubled down with grace. "I'm part of the LGBTQ+ community and I'm still figuring out my exact identity, but that's okay because love is love." The response from his primarily young Disney fanbase was overwhelmingly supportive, with #WestEnd with Joshua trending globally within hours. What makes Bassett's cultural impact so revolutionary is how naturally he used his Disney platform to advocate for authentic self-expression and LGBTQ+ youth support. His 2025 Pride Month content featured collaborations with LGBTQ+ organizations, behind-the-scenes moments from inclusive music video shoots, and honest discussions about the importance of representation in family entertainment. His TikTok presence regularly features advocacy posts, mental health awareness, and messages of encouragement for young fans navigating their own identity journeys. The internet became captivated by Bassett's approach to authentic masculinity and emotional vulnerability that feels revolutionary for Disney male stars. His 2025 concert performances regularly feature pride flags, inclusive messaging, and moments where he stops shows to support fans coming out to their families in the audience. His collaboration with GLAAD and the Trevor Project resulted in educational content that reaches millions of young Disney fans who might not otherwise have access to LGBTQ+ resources. What's most compelling about Bassett's revolution is how he proved that Disney stars can be openly queer while maintaining mainstream success and family-friendly appeal. His continued Disney projects show the network's support for his authentic evolution, while his independent music career allows for complete creative freedom. His 2025 album, The Golden Years, features several tracks about queer love and self-acceptance that have become anthems for young LGBTQ+ Disney fans worldwide. Whether through his vulnerable songwriting, his advocacy work, or simply his courage to live authentically while representing Disney's wholesome image, Bassett has redefined what a Disney heartthrob can be, proving that the most magical transformation is the one where you finally become brave enough to be completely yourself, even in the most wholesome corners of entertainment. Drop a 4 if Joshua Bassett's Disney authenticity proves that the most beautiful magic happens when stars choose truth over image management, creating space for every young person to believe they deserve to be loved exactly as they are. Omar Apollo, the bedroom pop prince who made indie music queer. When Omar Apollo first started uploading dreamy bedroom pop covers to YouTube and SoundCloud, he seemed destined to remain a beautiful voice in the indie underground forever. Here was a 27-year-old Mexican-American singer-songwriter who could craft melodies that made hearts ache, but his shy demeanor and gentle acoustic sound kept him firmly in the niche category. Fast forward to 2025, and Apollo hasn't just found his commercial success, he's revolutionized how queer Latin artists navigate mainstream music, earning Grammy nominations, billions of streams, and establishing himself as the voice of a generation seeking authentic representation in spaces that traditionally excluded queer people of color. The numbers tell an unprecedented growth story. Over 4.2 million monthly Spotify listeners. His album God Said No debuting at #12 on Billboard 200, and Grammy nominations that established him as a serious artistic force. Frank Ocean called him the future of alternative R&B, while Tyler, the creator, praised his fearless artistic vision that transcends genre boundaries. But Apollo himself has been philosophical about authentic evolution. I think the most honest thing you can do as an artist is grow, even if that means disappointing people who want you to stay the same. It's a perspective that guided his transformation from indie sweetheart to confident queer icon. What makes Apollo's cultural impact so compelling is how naturally his external transformation mirrored his internal artistic growth. Gone are the oversized hoodies and bashful stage presence, replaced by custom couture pieces, editorial photo shoots, and stage performances that command attention with quiet confidence. His collaboration with high-fashion stylists resulted in imagery that celebrates the male form without objectifying it. His recent Calvin Klein campaign broke the internet with shots so beautiful they sparked conversations about representation in luxury advertising. The internet became obsessed with Apollo's music videos and their increasingly cinematic quality. His Evergreen video, featuring intimate choreography and stunning cinematography, racked up 10 million views in its first week and spawned countless reaction videos from fans amazed by his artistic transformation. His live performances evolved from coffee shop intimacy to arena-worthy spectacles that showcase both his vocal growth and his newfound stage presence. "I used to hide behind my guitar," he reflected. "Now I realize that vulnerability and confidence aren't opposites, they're dance partners." What's most powerful about Apollo's revolution is how he used his platform to advocate for Latinx LGBTQ plus representation while building a fan base that transcends traditional demographic boundaries. His choice of collaborators shows clear preference for queer directors, diverse creative teams, and projects that challenge industry norms about what alternative R&B can be. His social media presence evolved to include artistic compositions, behind-the-scenes creative content, and advocacy posts that feel genuine rather than performative. The most remarkable aspect of Apollo's impact is how he proved that authentic artistic evolution can be both commercially successful and culturally significant. His upcoming world tour is nearly sold out, his brand partnerships show his crossover appeal, and his award nominations prove critical recognition of his growth. Industry observers note his gravitational pull toward independent films and artistic collaborations that prioritize meaning over mainstream appeal. Whether through his ethereal vocals, his stunning visual transformation, or his honest approach to fame and sexuality, Apollo represents something powerful about modern celebrity proof that the most beautiful evolutions happen when artists stop trying to be what others expect and start becoming who they've always been inside. Drop a 3 if Omar Apollo's artistic transformation proves that the most stunning glow-ups happen when you finally stop hiding your light and let your complete truth shine through your art. Joe Locke, the heartstopper star who made love feel safe again. When Joe Locke first appeared as Charlie Spring in Netflix's Heartstopper, he wasn't just playing a character. He was embodying a cultural moment that would redefine how young LGBTQ+ love is portrayed, celebrated, and understood by global audiences. Here was a 20-year-old British actor who had been living openly as gay since childhood, bringing authentic experience to a role that would reach over 50 million households worldwide and become Netflix's most beloved young adult series. His portrayal of Charlie's journey earned critical acclaim, BAFTA nominations, and established him as the face of a new generation of LGBTQ+ representation that prioritizes joy over trauma, love over struggle, and authentic happiness over tragic narratives. The authenticity speaks for itself. Never hiding his sexuality during auditions, industry meetings, or public appearances, Joe represents a new model of young actors who refuse to compromise identity for career opportunities. His openness about being gay since age 12 made him an unexpected role model for LGBTQ+ youth who see possibility rather than limitation in his success story. Fellow actors consistently describe him as genuinely authentic in ways that inspire everyone around him, while LGBTQ+ advocates praise his natural ability to normalize young queer experiences without drama or controversy. What makes Joe's cultural impact so significant is how effortlessly he integrated his authentic identity with mainstream commercial success. Heartstopper's global phenomenon status proved that audiences worldwide were hungry for positive LGBTQ+ representation that celebrated love rather than exploiting struggle. His approach to fame demonstrates that modern entertainment is ready for openly gay young actors who lead with authenticity rather than strategic ambiguity or closeted performance. The internet embraced Joe's genuine approach to public life and his refusal to make sexuality the central focus of his career narrative. His social media presence showcases authentic relationships, meaningful advocacy, and genuine joy that feels natural rather than calculated. His interviews reveal someone who views openness as normal rather than revolutionary, creating space for other young actors to follow suit without feeling pressure to make grand political statements. His work with LGBTQ+ youth organizations resulted in meaningful partnerships that support young people navigating similar experiences. What's most compelling about Joe's influence is how he proved that authentic representation can coexist with massive commercial success and family-friendly appeal. His Heartstopper success opened doors for similar projects featuring young LGBTQ+ characters, while his personal authenticity encouraged other young actors to prioritize genuine self-expression over career strategy. His upcoming projects show clear commitment to meaningful storytelling and continued authentic representation. The most remarkable aspect of Joe's revolution is how he normalized the concept of young people living openly without dramatic coming-out narratives or identity crises. His approach to celebrity prioritizes genuine connection, meaningful work, and authentic self-expression over traditional image management. Industry observers note his substantial influence on casting decisions, content creation, and authentic LGBTQ+ storytelling that centers young experiences without exploitation or trauma porn. Whether through his groundbreaking performance in Heartstopper, his lifelong authentic approach to public life, or simply his courage to exist openly as a young gay person from childhood through international stardom, Joe represents something beautiful about contemporary youth culture. Proof that the most powerful representation comes from people who never had to pretend to be someone else, and whose authenticity creates space for others to exist just as openly and joyfully. Drop a 2 if Joe Locke's lifelong authenticity proves that the most beautiful revolution is the one where young people never have to come out because they were never forced in. Dylan Mulvaney, the trans icon who turned journey into joy. When Dylan Mulvaney first started documenting her Days of Girlhood series on TikTok, she wasn't just sharing personal moments. She was creating a cultural phenomenon that would fundamentally redefine how the world understands trans experiences, authentic transition, and the power of vulnerable storytelling. Here was a 26-year-old former Broadway performer who could transform daily transition updates into global education, accumulate 10.8 million followers across platforms, and become a New York Times best-selling author while facing unprecedented public scrutiny with grace, humor, and unshakable joy. Her 365 days of documenting girlhood didn't just go viral, it became a historical document of trans joy, family acceptance, and resilient authenticity that changed lives and opened minds worldwide. The cultural impact speaks for itself. Millions of educational views about trans experiences, brand partnerships with major companies seeking authentic representation, and advocacy work that resulted in real crisis support funding for LGBTQ+ youth. Her Grammy appearances and collaboration with organizations like the Trevor Project proved her influence extends far beyond social media into meaningful activism. But Mulvaney herself has always been philosophical about visibility and responsibility. When you have a platform that reaches young people questioning their identity, You have an obligation to show them that living authentically isn't just possible, it's beautiful. It's a perspective that guided her evolution from performer to cultural educator and trans rights pioneer. What makes Mulvaney's impact so revolutionary is how naturally she balanced entertainment with education, personal joy with political significance. Her TikTok content ranges from makeup tutorials and outfit styling to deep conversations about transition experiences and family acceptance that feel both accessible and deeply meaningful. Her 365th Day Celebration livestream featured special guests, memory sharing, and all profits donated to crisis support services, proving that authentic influence creates real-world impact rather than just personal fame. The internet embraced Mulvaney's educational approach to trans visibility and her refusal to hide the complexities and challenges of transition experiences. Her comment sections became safe spaces for trans youth seeking guidance, allies learning about authentic support, and families navigating loved ones' transitions. Her brand partnerships specifically highlighted companies that support LGBTQ+ causes, creating economic impact alongside cultural change. Visibility without education is just performance, she reflected. Real impact happens when you're brave enough to share not just the beautiful moments, but the whole truth. What's most compelling about Mulvaney's influence is how she used her platform to advocate for systemic change while maintaining genuine joy and authentic connection with her audience. Her choice to remain positive despite facing intense backlash demonstrated remarkable resilience and became part of her educational impact. Her upcoming projects include documentary work about trans experiences that promises to extend her influence beyond social media into long-term cultural change. The most powerful aspect of Mulvaney's revolution is how she proved that authentic trans representation can be both educational and joyful, politically significant and personally healing. Her approach to fame prioritized community building, crisis support, and genuine education over traditional celebrity metrics. Industry observers note her influence on brand marketing, media representation, and public discourse about trans experiences in ways that extend far beyond entertainment into real social transformation. Whether through her groundbreaking documentation of transition, her advocacy for trans youth, or simply her courage to exist joyfully in spaces often hostile to trans experiences, Mulvaney represents something revolutionary about contemporary activism. Proof that the most powerful change comes from authentic truth-telling, vulnerable education, and the courage to transform personal journey into universal healing and systematic progress. Drop a 1 if Dylan Mulvaney's joyful journey proves that the most beautiful revolution happens when someone turns their truth into education, their vulnerability into strength, and their daily life into hope for millions. From Dylan Mulvaney's joyful education revolution to Joe Locke's authentic love story, from Omar Apollo's indie transformation to Joshua Bassett's Disney breakthrough, and Lil Nas X's genre-defying phenomenon, these 5 young stars didn't just achieve fame. They fundamentally changed what fame could mean. Each story reminds us that the most powerful revolutions often begin with someone young enough to believe that authenticity and success aren't mutually exclusive. They're perfectly complementary. These aren't just celebrity success stories, they're cultural transformation stories. Whether through vulnerable documentation, authentic representation, artistic evolution, wholesome rebellion, or genre-breaking artistry, each young person proved that living your complete truth doesn't limit your possibilities. It expands them infinitely. Their collective impact shows us that Generation Z isn't just the future. They're actively reshaping the present, one authentic moment at a time. They've shown the world that young LGBTQ+ voices don't just deserve to be heard. They deserve to lead, to inspire, and to change everything for the countless young people watching from home, learning that their truth isn't just valid, it's revolutionary. Which young star's courage inspired your own journey to authenticity? Drop your numbers 1 through 5 and tell us where you're watching from, because these stories are reshaping what it means to be young, gay, and powerful in 2025. If you believe the future belongs to people brave enough to change everything just by being themselves, smash that like button. Subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight for more celebrations of young voices changing the world. Remember, you're never too young to be authentic, never too small to make a difference, and never too early to start living your complete truth. Because these 5 stars prove that sometimes the most important revolutions are led by people brave enough to love themselves out loud.